What gets you to click on a video? Is it the topic, the title, the thumbnail, or the little numbers underneath that tell you how popular it and its creator are? Well, one thing is for certain. It's a healthy mix of all of those. But to break it down as best as I possibly can, let's start with the obvious thing. That being the beginning. All good YouTube videos start with the same thing, and that is a good idea. But to get that good idea in the hands, or more accurately, the eyes and ears of any self-respecting person, you're gonna need a thumbnail. And if you're anything like me and you hear those words, you're gonna ask like, oh, what do I even do? You're like, what do I do? Where do I even go? And for that, you have so many options. I mean, just for example, you have Adobe Express, Photoshop, Carvana, and so many more. Carvana? Oh my god, that wasn't even close. But fundamentally, you need a software that's good at composing photos from a lot of different pieces. But once you're there, where do you go? You know, what do you do after that to get that billion-dollar thumbnail idea? Well, believe it or not, this is where a lot of famous creators actually go somewhere like ChatGPT. Now, this isn't saying that the whole thing is AI generated most of the time, but it is a really good place to get mock-ups. For example, with a simple prompt about what I had planned for this video and the title I had in mind, ChatGPT shot out these. It's something. Okay, it's something. You gotta give me it's something. You know, we'll take it from here. Let me take it from here, okay? But now that you've got all of these AI generated images, I mean, for extra inspiration, you could go onto YouTube. You know, scroll around, you find your niche at wherever you want to go. Really, I don't really care. And then take these images, all think about it, mull it over, create something in your head, but then the next step is to create it in reality. Create it on a piece of paper. Keep it simple. You don't need to go over the top or anything, but just have this as your anchor point, your true reference. Then we could use all of these as a sort of blueprint to make the actual thumbnail. But to do that, you're going to need all the fundamentals and principles that actually get views. Apparently. But before we could get to the good stuff, we got to get over something that a lot of people get wrong about thumbnails, okay? A lot of people, if you're around this space for long enough, what space would this be? The YouTube thumbnail space? I mean, I don't know what you're doing here in the first place, but if you're around here long enough, you might hear someone say something like, thumbnails are subjective and thumbnails are an art form and that no one is better than the other and that they're like album covers and you can't really do it wrong. But this couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, take these two, for example. Which one would you rather click? It's this one. It's this one. There's no debate here. There's no conversation to be had. All right, it's not about you and you being special and be like, oh no, this one because I wouldn't. No. It's this one. Don't even start with me, bro. Don't even. It's this one. Okay. Settle down. Okay. There's no debate. No. Shush. Hush. Shush. What's the word? Is it hush or shush? Hush. That's what it's called. Shush. Okay, shush. But now that we know that thumbnails can be both good and bad, Bro. It's not, I was acting. It's not actually raining that hard. It's like a light drizzle, bro. But anyway, now that we know that thumbnails can be both good and bad, what makes a good thumbnail? Well, lucky for us, we've got a genius we can ask. So much goes into making a good thumbnail, it's hard to give a straight answer when asked, what makes a good thumbnail? Truly, it's what stands out, what looks interesting, what looks quality, And what gets your attention? Wait, no. Yeah. Yeah, so what gets your attention? According to multiple studies, the two colors that catch your attention the fastest are red and yellow. Yellow, of course, being what gets your attention first, being that your eyes are more sensitive to the 555 nanometer wavelength that is yellow. Red then being the color proven to raise your heart rate and give you a sense of urgency and stress. But this is good stress, you know, the kind of stress that makes you go, oh, what's going on in that thumbnail? Here are some examples. They get clicks. They get clicks, right? It's proven. But you see, colors are everything. Composition is king. Composition is king. Composition is king. What the frick is composition? Well, it's where everything goes in the thumbnail. Everything has its place, you know? You gotta get that curiosity factor, that subject of the video in the right spot. You see over here in the land of the brave, we read right to left. So a lot of... This would be right to left. You know what I'm saying. So the curiosity, that thing, a lot of people will put that on, you know, the left. We read left to right. I'm a moron. I put down left to right, or right to left. Frick, what do we read? We read left to right. So a lot of famous creators will put that thing on the left, so you see it first, but then again, you have to be different. You have to stand out, so some people will put it on the right. You know, it all depends. Which brings up thumbnail types, which I know you've seen a billion times, but you didn't know they had names, did you? I mean, look at these, you know? I bet you've seen this one about 1,000 times today alone. In fact, creators got so bored of using just these base templates that they started merging them together to maximize like clickability and stuff, you know, and just shove it in your face. And then it comes to complementary colors. You see, we have this nerdy wheel where you pick like two opposing colors on opposite sides and it adds contrast. And if you want to get really fancy, you could do whatever the frick this is. And then there's that goofy rule of thirds, or as I like to call it, like the hashtag rule, because it looks like a flipping hashtag, where you separate the photo into a 3x3 grid and then you aim to line up the points of interest in the cross sections of the lines to achieve better eye traffic. Does that... It's like... It makes sense to you, right? And then there's that Minecraft Nautilus shell looking graph or something that the Mona Lisa actually uses that is meant to make the image flow better. It's like this. It like flows. It flows better into your eyes. It flows. It's like... But then there's that pesky little like time code, like time stamp, whatever you call it thing. And like the bottom right, yeah, like don't put anything important behind there, you know, that's gonna be covered up. And also the corners, just random, like they just round them a little more occasionally whenever YouTube feels like it. So like you can't really have like a box image. It needs to be a box. If it needs to be a box, it has rounded corners sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. I can't really find out when it has rounded corners and when it doesn't. Like the corners are slightly rounded, but like sometimes they're more, you know what? Like you gotta keep this all in mind, you know? And never, and I mean never, put that title in the thumbnail anywhere, okay? We'll get to titles, but like never put that title in the viewer's retina twice, okay? Like, you only have so much space. Don't waste it with simple words they're gonna read 2 seconds from now, okay? Like, don't do that. And don't even get me started on that new inline playback feature or whatever they're calling it, where like if I even think about looking at the title of a video or the thumbnail, or even I think about the video and it's not even on the screen, the first 5 to 10 seconds are gonna start playing, which has led thumbnail creation down a whole new rabbit hole of needing to coincide and bond with the first 5 to 10 seconds of the video to even stay relevant. Now, don't get me wrong, clickbait is bad, okay? Don't do it. But a fundamental strategy of the click now is paying off the thumbnail in the first 5 to 10 seconds of the video, which has led a lot of famous creators to kind of claim that the thumbnail has lost over half its value because the first 5 to 10 seconds of the video is the thumbnail. And this all does have a lot to do with attention spans. Now, trust me, I am aware of the current attention span crisis going on in the world. but it's still kind of weird. You know, it's like, it's good for the viewer, like it's a better viewer experience. I can attest to that. Like, it's just, well, the first 5 to 7 seconds is boring, whatever. But it's like kind of weird. It's harder for the creator, you know, because everything has to, it kind of needs to mesh better. Like, it should mesh better. It should all make sense, but like, it needs to now to even be a thing, even be clickable, you know. Am I making sense to you? And on top of all this, I've got to make 2 to 3 thumbnails so that YouTube can cycle them out with this new A/B, was kind of new, but like the A/B cycling feature, which basically lets YouTube change your thumbnail with a couple that you create to see which one is the most popular and which one gets more clicks, and then like they'll tell you and you can decide that that one is the thumbnail because they tested it, which is great to like get more clicks and stuff. That means I have to make 2 to 3 thumbnails with all of this stuff in mind, which, you know, man, no, but unironically, YouTube, it's a fantastic feature. Like, keep cooking with these types of features, but like, so I just wanted to wind down here for a second and just kind of digest all of the information near the end of this video. So ultimately, a thumbnail is the quintessential image of the video, right? It's got to represent the video in the best way possible. And to do that, it needs to put all of the important parts of the video that you want to convey in the thumbnail all together in one image. But there's an easy way to mess that up by doing too much, because the second thing is it's gotta stay simple. It's gotta stay clean, and in a certain sort of way, a certain view, it's gotta stay professional, right? So you gotta kind of make your brand in that way, you know, a simple way of making your brand, a simple way of making your thumbnail in the cleanest way possible. And then of course, it's gotta catch your attention, right? That's a fundamental of a thumbnail. You know, one of the main reasons why thumbnails exist is to catch your attention. It's to tell you what the video is about and to pull you in, to make you want to watch it. And one of the most important things about thumbnails and making them the best they possibly can is that if a viewer sees it and doesn't click on it, they will watch something else and you may never show up for that viewer again, and then you just lost, you know, however you want to look at that, you've lost the view. So they've got to stay good. They've got to stay simple. They've got to stay consistent, really, is another one. But they got to be different, because if you just make the same thing as everything else, it's the numbers at the bottom that are truly gonna tell them the next thing. And if you're smaller or anything, the numbers aren't going to help you. So it's the 2 big things at the top that you really need to perfect. And the circles and arrows can help, but then again, being different. So maybe forgo the circles and arrows. I don't know. It's really up to you, I suppose, on exactly what you want to do, but there are guidelines to it. But going back to those 2, I said there's 2 things you got to perfect, right? There's the thumbnail, but then there's the title. Yeah, you thought we were done. You thought we were done. All this slow stuff? Nah. The title of your video is also really important, but at this point, it's really more of like a thumbnail junior than an actual contender with the thumbnail. The thumbnail is more important, but the title still has 2 goals. Okay, it also tells the viewer what the video is about, and it's got to be like a perfect partner with the thumbnail. The thumbnail is more important. A super popular way of using titles with the thumbnail is to answer a question with the title, or the other way around. You know, like having some question mark or something in the thumbnail, and then you're like, what's the question mark there for? And then you look at the title, and maybe it'll tell you what the question mark is there for.
But one thing you definitely shouldn't do, in fact, you don't do it, you can't do it, never do it again, all right, is putting a whole book, a whole essay in the title. Okay, that's not what the title's for, okay? If the title doesn't fit on one line, or maybe 1.5, if you're really trying to stretch it, it's probably not gonna slide, okay? You probably gotta rethink that stuff. Also, you have to keep in mind that titles are used in SEO, which I'm forgetting what that stands for at the moment. Okay, SEO stands for search engine optimization. I just, like, it just came to me. I didn't even have to look it up. But search engine optimization. Okay, titles are one of 3 main parts that go into that. It's titles, description, and technically hashtags. I'm pretty sure throw into there. But description helps with that. That's a big part of it. But also the title. The title is what people see. The title is also used in SEO. So what I was trying to get across is that titles are important for people to find your video. So having it relate to the actual content of the video is really important because that's how someone could find it. Hopefully that makes sense.
And now we've come to the actual end of the video. I promise there's no fake out this time. But after all this information, anything you may have gathered in making a thumbnail and a title, after you have it, after you've truly made it and it exists, a good thing to do is to test it out before actually posting it to YouTube. And a good way to do that is to use this. For the life of me, I cannot remember what this is, but it'll be here. If this is blank, I failed all of you, but this was helpful. Basically, it just puts the image and the title into the format of YouTube without actually having to post it anywhere. But ultimately, what did we learn? All right, we learned that thumbnails are good. No, we didn't learn that at all. We learned that thumbnails are supposed to be good. Almost fumbled that hard, but no, thumbnails are supposed to be good. All right, they need to be good to get clicks and views and all of the above. And also the title needs to work perfectly with the thumbnail to make a complete package. I don't know where I heard this, but a good analogy is that it needs to be like a movie poster, right? So it needs to tell the whole story in one simple glance. But ultimately, just put more effort into it is kind of the idea, I guess. I don't know what you learned. I don't know if you like got lost along the way, if it was too confusing. I don't know. Hopefully it was at least slightly enjoyable, right? But I had a good time. I hope you did too. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below. And as you're scrolling down there, you can just hit like and subscribe on the way down. Like, don't even worry about it. Just hit them and move on. But I will see y'all next month. That one should be fun. I'm pretty excited about that one. So make sure to come back for that.